Good morning, afternoon, evening, and I hope an insightful midnight snack in case you are awake wherever you are. My name is Liang, and I'm honored to join this occasion to share some thoughts with you on the Earth Day 2022. Let me begin with the courtesy of a few words about myself. I'm a father, husband, entrepreneur, and a citizen, a traveling British born in Beijing, China, who just returned home in London from my very first international trip since the outbreak of pandemic. I usually spend consistently more than 70% of my time away from home since my very first startup, that is Coordinate Technologies, back in 2007, 15 years ago. So it has been very interesting, not able to travel for more than 2 years continuously. I'm sure many of us have already found ways to adapt to this huge change in our life and work, and I'm sure most of us would agree that the world would never quite return to the norm before. Traveling is a good thing. It's given me lots of knowledge about the world, businesses, and myself, as well as time for me to enjoy music and reading. And often Facebook, now called Meta, would torture me with these fantastic pictures of my past business trips during the pandemic lockdown. I am today the co-founder of xSpaces, which actually started this journey by providing metaverse education content and solutions to hundreds of schools in Australia. And now we are expanding our metaverse service to businesses and individuals who wish to be a part of this meta trend and generate value. 3 things elevated me, especially from the worst moment of UK lockdown, which I would like to share with everyone here. And I promise it will make us all feel a little bit better to realize the last 2+ years have actually been somewhat valuable. First, I must thank Clubhouse, a social media metaverse founded by Paul and Rohan. This sensational platform is, in my humble opinion, a place of lifelong learning with inclusive and democratic minds who understand and respect the power of waiting and listening. On the previous Earth Day, 22nd April 2021, I actually co-founded the very first global education conference with more than 200 Clubhouse rooms in 7 different languages, with participants from more than 20 counted nationalities talking about what we can do to improve education. I hope some of the speakers are here with us today. One of the keynote speakers we had for the US Open Room was in fact the Clubhouse founder, Paul Davidson himself, whom I would always respect as one of the most influential, creative, and inspiring metaverse founders ever. I can safely say that Clubhouse started a new era for audio metaverse, and millions of people have learned a lot together during all the sharing rooms, and still so every minute. Second, I would like to thank my colleagues, co-founders of xSpaces, which is a metaverse communication platform that served hundreds of schools and 1,000 times more people to remove the barrier of time and space so that we can meet in a manner similar to what is now called Meta. But of course, our development started 3 years before Mark Zuckerberg rebranded Facebook, which I like to show my respect, marked a turning point to the age of metaverse. For that matter, I also want to thank our investors and would-be investors for your support on the creation and enhancement of such platform, which we all are enjoying today, and for enabling us to serve more creators, educators, and lifelong learners in the future. Thirdly, I want to thank my families, especially my son. I used to only spend often no more than 2 or 3 weeks with my son before another international trip across big time differences, which resulted a London-based Brit co-founded xSpaces in Sydney, among other disruptive exploits, since his birth in 2009. But this time, we are still together after 32 months, continuously. I think I can resonate with all the fathers here on this Earth Day of the incredible fortune and gift of being together with our family. Family is interesting. It's a concept that often extends. We often see our colleagues and co-founders as a part of extended families or other fellow entrepreneurs who share similar values and beliefs. For families, communication are so vitally important, as well as the legacy of communications. These were exactly key principles for us to build to serve on xSpaces. So you may have noticed that there are many listeners of the speeches today from all walks of life in many different countries. It is a truly 3D world, but Metaverse can give us a lot more than that, and some platform already did. But we are all working to do better at this. Let me share a few thoughts with you all about education in the age of Metaverse. First of all, education is going 4D, not just 3D. Yes, you can work among the recordings of this sixth of spatial existence experience in the past on xSpaces, watching how you said things, performed things, and interacted with others in a spatial manner, and take a selfie and share with a past you and your friends. Do be mindful of your share too, because the future you can also interact with the past you and the present you with a bit of artificial intelligence that is something we are building. Many would argue that smell, taste, and feeling, touch, for example, should also be made possible on platforms like xSpaces to support education further. This is something I strongly agree and would continue to work with all the innovators to improve upon for our platform and together for other similar metaverse platforms together. Secondly, it is now possible for us to mint NFTs on our creative jointly with others and benefit from every transaction in the future without being controlled by a historical authority whose decision most of us creators might disagree, sometimes violently and most times unpleasantly. This decentralized exchange would surely give probably 1,000,000 times more creatives and enlarge our combined economy or value creation by an astronomical magnitude. And who knows, might just help some of us to collaborate with aliens or our earthly animals, plants, and maybe fungi. Thirdly, if the future creator economy is increasingly based on a metaverse world with Web 3.0 and a decentralized finance system, one might ask, how should the education system, which is all about creating valuable citizens for our combined future, change and adapt and serve the future? Education is a rather vast word for the fact that it covers all aspects of subjects across subjects and all historical aspects, as well as many different cultures, both known and unknown. Perhaps I should focus on science education since I'm a deep practitioner here. Here I would mention a friend of mine, Rob Hoban. He's Dutch, by the way, who co-founded Agora Schools in the Netherlands. Agora School is a school with no exams, no classroom, no teachers, and no syllabus, which we should all agree hasn't been able to catch up with the change of times in all the countries represented here today. Our schools has mentors, and students work out projects with their mentors. They serve 12 to 18 years old, and is fully recognized by Dutch government. And now expanding to 10 schools already, with another 2 in Belgium. Perhaps it is time for us to not only rethink our education system, but the exam and certification system also, which none of us like, nor remember, under the context of the challenges we all face, to cultivate more minds like Elon Musk, and to have the opportunity to create more solutions to reverse challenges like global warming, plastic pollution, finding better ways to energize our economy, and turn investment on weapons to investment on arts and culture. And another person I like to thank here is actually my other friend, Vasily Filippov, doctor, who was listed as one of the top 100 European tech entrepreneurs. One of the key ideas of Vasily is that science education, and of course, more so for art and many other subjects, it is important to offer well-designed hands-on experiment to truly engage children and parents in the observation and feel of science. When you get these golden moments of engagement, you serve the best possible metaverse education content, which children can dive into atoms or subatomic particles and move out to the galaxy and learn things interactively with both slowed down time to observe events happening within nanoseconds or accelerated events happening across millions of years. Even more exciting, when you learned the basic, how about creating and design conditions to simulate and analyze chemical reactions within metaverse, together with other teachers or students alike from all walks of life, present or the past, and possibly publish your result or NFT, minting your amazing visual effect, which you can display in your metaverse living room of each of us, might deserve which is something that each of us might deserve a few or more for different subjects areas on xSpaces or other great metaverse platforms. Your learning journey and creative journey on metaverse can be artificially summarized and form the basis of your exam or certifications, hopefully soon, or even better, can be participated by professors in charge of admissions to the best universities, whose teaching would no longer be constrained by the size and location of the classroom, but to everyone who has access to metaverse, audio or visual, or interactively, or in a bubble bus. The metaverse is surely making all of us more creative, like a child, relearning the forms and rules that is changing fast, upgrading fast, and feel the thrill and happiness of a baby once again, hopefully more often. For most of audiences and participants here today, our education history has been a collection of qualifications and certifications decided by centralized authorities. So how up to date and adaptive do we think these authorities are changing with respect of our combined global norm today? Perhaps it is time for all of us to wonder if we might be able to form a few DAOs to work out a interplanetary qualification and certification system, which recognize a lot more learning, creation, sharing, and supporting, which cultivate more value for a better tomorrow, which doesn't discriminate against our middle-aged men and women, like some of us here today, as well as our parents who also love to learn and share every day. And more importantly, for all these efforts to be supported by decentralized investment, individuals and bodies who will be united by the same and shared beliefs and sustainable values rather than the traditional divide between investors and entrepreneurs. As a conclusion, on this Earth Day, I really want to thank All Grant Foundation for the opportunity for me to share a few thoughts with all of you for our past search and efforts, and with the future ourselves and children of ours, to look back today with a warm hug in an environmentally friendly blockchain. More importantly, us concluded in the conversation with an art lecture friend of mine who regularly gave lessons on art in universities and the National Galleries in London slightly earlier today, who also consult for Sotheby's Institute of Art. And the learning and sharing of art is like a journey of art creativity, which we can all start straight away on xSpaces, for example, or else. This might just create a bit more sense of respect and understanding this planet needs to weather through the big challenges and help us survive together with each other and nature better and sustainably. Thank you and well done.